Good morning, everybody. I guess I should say good morning, good afternoon, good night, whenever you're watching this video. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're having a good day. You had a good day. And we're back here. I am back here again. It's morning for me, and I'm going to start my mornings how I typically like to start them and how I have been doing recently, which is by getting in front of a camera right here and talking about something about my life. Now, I've done a lot of talking recently about things that I have struggled with, things that I want to improve, get better at, and part of the reason that I really enjoy sitting in front of a camera and talking about those things is not only does it help me to get these important topics and ideas, I should say, out into the world, speaking them into existence. It helps me by doing that, but I also know that it helps other people. And I know that a lot of the things that I struggle with and a lot of the things that I choose to talk about on this channel, which are things that I struggle with, I'm not alone in the idea that I think a lot of people, especially young people my age, are dealing with these things. And something that I want to touch on today is the idea that nothing changes if nothing changes. So it may sound like this isn't something that I could struggle with. You know, what I'm kind of saying here is just a statement, but the truth is when you unpack it, it really becomes known that this is absolutely something that people struggle with, something that I struggle with. And when you really think about what this whole thing means, nothing changes if nothing changes, it means if you want to change something in your life, if you want to achieve something greater, you have to take that step. You have to be brave. You have to try something new. You have to be willing to fail. But you have to be willing to try. You have to be willing to change. And the most important thing is you have to be willing, and you have to accept that you may have to leave your comfort zone. In fact, you probably will. And for me, I've touched on this a lot, but my comfort zone is way too comfortable for me. I really gravitate towards just being comfortable and feeling in control and knowing everything that could happen, not having any uncertainties. And because of that, I tend to spend a lot of time in my comfort zone, which I think is a really bad and dangerous thing. Because for me, for example, I've spent so much time in my comfort zone that now trying to get out of my comfort zone and leave that over time just becomes exponentially harder, and it becomes very difficult to just take that first step and try something new and be willing to fail or look awkward or do anything that would make you feel embarrassed or anything like that, I should say. And because of that, this quote, nothing changes if nothing changes, has really become one of my favorite quotes. It's become a quote that I try and keep in the front of my mind. I try and think about as much as I can because it's true. It really is true. If you are not content, not happy with where you are in your life in general, or where you are with this project or situation or anything really, if you keep doing everything how you've been doing, you're going to stay in the same place. The reason that it's not working out right now is because of the things you've done in the past. And if you keep doing those things in the past, you're never going to grow. You're never going to change. You're never going to finally be able to develop and achieve these things that you truly want to achieve without change. And I think a lot of the reason that a lot of people, myself included, we get stuck, we get into these ruts or periods of time where we just feel stuck. And we stay there. We stay stuck. We stay in these ruts. We don't know how to evolve or break through these walls or change because we are so afraid of change. You see, we get so accustomed to the things that we have already been doing that they become our comfort zone. These things that we have always done become comfortable for us. We know how to do them. We know when to execute them. We know how to execute them. We know how to do all these things, so it feels comfortable. There's no questions that have to be asked. There's no uncertainties to worry about. There's nothing really to stress about. But when we become too comfortable with everything that we've been doing, it becomes harder and harder to change. And the truth is, we all need change at some point in our lives. And by becoming too comfortable in our comfort zone, becoming too comfortable doing the things we have always been doing, we're never going to change. It's just not something that we have any desire to do because change is scary, change is different, change gives us stress and anxiety, and that's nothing that we want to deal with. But the truth is, it's what we have to deal with. Nothing great comes from being comfortable. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to take risks. You have to take the first step in order to grow. And yes, it's going to be scary. It's going to be intimidating. It's going to feel like there are so many uncertainties and unknowns. But the truth is, once we take that step, we realize that step was a lot smaller than we thought it would be. I think we tend to over-dramatize a lot of things in our head. It's something that I do all the time. I always expect the worst. I always think that something is going to be so much worse than it actually is. And we need to be brave. We have to be brave to accept that we need to change, and we have to be brave and accept that in order to change, we might fail. We might embarrass ourselves. We might look unknowledgeable or like we don't know what we're doing. We might look funny or silly. We might get judged, but it's what we have to do. And it all comes back to your comfort zone and being comfortable. We all have become way, way too comfortable being comfortable. And I think that's one of the biggest issues that a lot of young people, especially myself, when I talk about this, I am not talking down on anyone else because I myself struggle with these things substantially. So let that be known that everything that I'm talking about here, being afraid of change or being too comfortable, this is about myself. This is something that I am embarrassed to admit that I struggle with this so much, but it's true. And I think it's something that a lot of young people my age struggle with. We get too used to these routines, too used to these habits and things that we've been doing that it becomes harder and harder to change over time. But we need change. And if we truly want to be the best version of ourselves that we can become, if we truly want to reach this pinnacle, if we want to achieve this goal, we have to change. We have to be willing to evolve. And nothing changes if nothing changes. If you stay in the same place your whole life, you're never going to get anywhere. You're never going to move around. You're never going to learn about the nuances and the beauty of life by staying put. You have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to take risks and embarrass yourself. So, if this talk resonated with any of you, I hope it did, and I hope maybe this may inspire you to make a change in your life, because it's something that we all have to do, even though it's very scary. So I hope you all enjoyed. I definitely enjoyed making this video, as I always do. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys tomorrow.